Saving you time. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
J&J Truck and Auto Body, 100% guaranteed.
What makes a credit union different from a bank? At Highmark Credit Union, it starts with you. We're member-owned, not shareholder-driven. That means our earnings go back to you through better rates, lower fees, and personal service. Unlike big banks, we put people first. You're not just an account number, you're part of a community. Highmark Credit Union. Local, personal, and here for you. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
We all know the drill. Packing the car, hitting the airport, traveling all over the country so our kids can play in tourneys in another state. But imagine bringing those tournaments to Rapid City. Year-round entertainment, shopping, dining. Millions in new revenue for Rapid City instead of Sioux Falls, Denver, or Omaha. A yes vote supports the sports complex. We win by showing up and voting yes on January 20th. Join the team at teamrapidcity.com. Paid for by Citizens for Responsible Growth.
Looking for a great place for a pregame meal that really satisfies? Or maybe you want a place to take your all-star after the game. Or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV. Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service. Wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games. And the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
Omarion Hampton is back for the Chargers tonight. He will play against the Philadelphia Eagles as Week 14 wraps up in the NFL. Kickoff 8:15 Eastern Time. Looking ahead to Week 16, the NFL has made a change to the schedule. The Patriots-Ravens game in Baltimore now has been flexed to Sunday Night Football. Bengals and Dolphins in Week 16 will be played at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski announced today that quarterback Shedeur Sanders will be the team's starting quarterback for the rest of the season. Colts quarterback Daniel Jones will miss the rest of the year with a torn Achilles. The Colts aren't sure if rookie quarterback Riley Leonard's going to be able to start against the Seahawks in Week 15. He's dealing with a knee injury. Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins is back in concussion protocol, while defensive end Trey Hendrickson out at least 6 weeks because of core muscle surgery, and the team also released wide receiver Jermaine Burton. Commanders tight end Zach Ertz done for the season with a torn ACL. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Good Monday afternoon. Let's get ready to go tonight. Boy, there's a lot to discuss. What a weekend. What a weekend from college football with the big guys, FBS, and the playoff mess to the FCS and the mess going on. I mean, that's unbelievable. Hey, is USD still playing? Anybody out there? Is USD still in this? The Nate Brown Show is back. We're ready. It is the Monday show, and it is always a great day in South Dakota. Welcome in South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. Thanks for making this show possible. A great guest lineup tonight. A lot of college football guests, and we've got you covered from the FCS to the national level. And by the way, high school basketball in South Dakota getting started. So we got to get started on that front. Let's get to it. The Nate Brown Show is on our affiliates across the state. KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Welcome in on Fox Sports Rapid City. Also stream us a few different spots. On X, follow the show, watch us live, at Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch us live, at Nate Brown Show. Welcome in there on X. We have a YouTube channel. It's up and live. Subscribe. You've got every show there and every archive show. So good place to catch us, The Nate Brown Show. Search for it on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show, and Midwest Sports Plus. We are live on the new high school sports streaming app. Their high school coverage just getting started with hoop season. Midwest Sports Plus. Get it in your app, and you've got us live there every afternoon. Monday's show looks great. Let's get popping. Here's the guest lineup tonight. We'll go to USD, talk to the play-by-play man for the Coyote Sports Network, John Thayer. Covered the big win at Mercer, and it was a big win, an easy win. That was dominant on all aspects. I'm watching that game early on saying, this puppy's over. And it just goes to show the Missouri Valley is that good. And I know people got knocked off, SDSU and NDSU, I understand, but the FCS committee still has stuff messed up. I mean, you're telling me Mercer's the 6th seed? That wasn't even close. So USD, they're on to Missoula, taking on the Grizz. That'll be interesting this Saturday. John Thayer's covering it. He'll be on tonight talking Yotes. What a season here for the Yotes. They're very undershadowed, I'd say, right? They're not. Everybody talks SDSU. I know. I had a USD fan. He just tweeted this out today. This was funny. This is from a USD fan, Grant. Grant says he posted an image of Tom Cruise laughing, and he said, "This is me knowing that South Dakota and North Dakota media are only going to have USD to talk about." He said, that's funny. That's true. Grant, you got everybody. You pegged everybody. Yes, we're talking USD. John Thayer's coming up. Mike McFeely's on tonight from North Dakota. I got a listener text on the text line. He said, Nate, invite somebody on from North Dakota to talk about the Bison and this, what happened here. John Bryce also on tonight. Footballscoop.com, national college football writer. He's based out of South Bend, headquarters of the college football playoff controversy. So John Bryce is in Football Scoop, and Jason Ander is coming up, high school basketball preview with Jandy from South Dakota Public Broadcasting. So Mike McFeely's in from North Dakota, John Bryce, national, John Thayer, USD, and Jason Ander talking high school hoops. So a packed show. If you want in, let's get you on. 605-720-1067. You can sound off here. We'll get you on the best we can. 605-720-1067. That's the Pizza Ranch studio hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch. Here's the locations tonight. They're in Brandon with a great location. Stop by, Best Buffet, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and 2 locations in Rapid City. Remember the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. The listener text line is open as well, 605-720-1067. Easy to do. We'll check the text line throughout the show. Your comments there on our topics tonight. Barron's Wilson listener text line, 605-720-1067. Okay, before we get to the FCS deal and the Jimmy Rogers deal and everything going on, I'll get going on the college football playoff just from a couple of things I want to dig into. I'm not going to argue here about Notre Dame all day, but I did say this on Thursday, and the perfect storm developed. So if you listened on Thursday, I set this thing up. I didn't know Duke was going to win. I don't know, but I have it right here. This is the sheet from Thursday. I'm showing it on the live stream. I've got the sheet still from Thursday. What if Duke wins the ACC championship? Then we've got a mess. And that's exactly what happened. And for people that aren't following college football, this is kind of hard to explain. So I'll just go through the Cliff Notes. Is there still Cliff Notes out there for kids these days? I'll go through the Cliff Notes. Then you had the group of 5 or group of 6, whatever you want to say. They were going to take 2 spots, and it turned into a disaster. You're going to say, what do you mean? It's a disaster. I mean, you've got Tulane, they're in. You've got James Madison, they're in. And you FCS fans are very aware of James Madison, right? Because everybody mocked James Madison and laughed about James Madison. Oh, they were good, yeah. And they're going to go to some meaningless bowl games by going to the FBS. They're getting $4 million. They're going to the playoff. They're going to the playoff from the FCS to the college football playoff. Can you believe it? It's quite the story, but it's a mess. And this is exactly what I was afraid of, because I told you on Thursday's show, if you missed Thursday, my whole point and my quest in life is usually sticking up for the mid-majors. I want to stick up for the Mountain West. I want to stick up for some of these small programs in the NCAA tournament. I want them to get shots and get chances. I usually want that. And then I've started figuring out the whole system has changed in college sports. These programs aren't at the same level. So the Mountain West teams, the Tulanes, the James Madisons, they're not at the same level in the new NIL world. So I am shifting the other way. And you could say, well, that's abandoning the small guy. You don't want the small guy. It's not that. It's the system is changing, so we have to change the way we do the college football landscape. There's going to have to be a Power 4 only tournament, and there's going to have to be a Group of 6 tournament. But you know what I've wanted on this show, and I've said it on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. The SDSUs and the NDSUs and the USDs and UNDs, you better be ready to be in that next level when this deal changes. I said here on the show for the last year, I think this is going to change the landscape of college football over the next 3 years. That's just a guess. And I said, we're going to have a new division, and you better be ready, these top-tier FCS programs, to not be hoping that the FCS is still going to be okay. You got to be in that next level with the Group of 6 teams. So then you're going to have the Power 4 tournament, and you're going to have a Group of 6 tournament, which includes new teams with regional rivalries, bring in the Montana schools, some of these top FCS schools, and that's the way this thing's got to play out. That's the system change that I'm calling for. I'm not saying that, I'm not going to stick up for the small guys anymore. I'm just saying the system's totally gone. The NIL and the money has totally changed what we've liked about college football. And no, I don't want to see Tulane and Ole Miss. I mean, I just don't want to go down that road. That's a bad deal. And the college football playoff committee's everybody's focused on the Notre Dame argument today. Well, I understand. I mean, I'm a supporter of Notre Dame. I'm a fan of Notre Dame. They should be in the playoff. There's just no doubt about that. But the deal is the system is wrong. It is flawed. And you had the Duke Blue Devils pull off the upset, and now it's screwed everything up. And no, I don't want the Group of 5 teams in there. Those are going to be bad games. James Madison and Oregon, I don't need to see it, and I don't think it's going to. I really hope that maybe they'll stick around. Maybe they'll be able to battle, but it sure doesn't seem like it. There's the have and the have-nots, and that gap is huge, and you guys know that. You guys know that now. So it's not me saying, the middle guy, I don't want the little guy anymore. I want a real tournament for real competitive parity. I want the tournament to have competitive parity. I don't need to see Tulane facing Ole Miss. That's just not going to work. The best teams aren't in it. Notre Dame's one of the best teams. Vanderbilt's one of the best teams. I mean, they just are. And so I would actually like to call for this. If we don't have a shift in this over the next 3 years, which I think we will, I do, and this brings in the SDSUs and the NDSUs and the Yotes and UND, I think you're going to have that big shift. But if we don't, like in the next year or two, then just take the college football playoff to 16. And people, no, we don't want that. Yeah, that's what you're going to have to do, because we shouldn't be arguing about Notre Dame today. Tulane in the playoff and Notre Dame out, that's unbelievable. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. What do you say?
Well, I'm not a Notre Dame fan, obviously. I'm a Husker fan, but they should be in there. But I also think they should be in a conference, too. It's their own fault. They're in the ACC in every sport but football. Why aren't they in there for football? They'd be in the playoff.
Well, you know why they're not in there. They make a bunch of money. They make a bunch of money.
Conference pretty soon. If they're going to be on the outside looking in, all these major schools are going to align with maybe the top 2 or 3 major conferences, and Notre Dame's going to have anybody to play pretty soon here. I think if I were them, they better get in the conference soon.
What about
they have opponents.
What about taking the playoff to 16 teams?
I think it's going there next year already. I don't know what the.
I'm okay with that, by the way.
To keep it at 12, but it should be 16. But how does Alabama get their butt kicked and not drop anything, not even drop one spot?
I know. They weren't just going to punish. They weren't going to punish Alabama for playing the SEC title game. They could have got beat, I guess, by anything. I guess.
Well, then why have a title game then?
Yeah, you're not going to have these anymore. That's what I'm telling you. Those are going to go by the wayside.
Alabama barely beat Auburn the last game of the year, who's not very good. So why are they so? They talk about two of their losses. They beat Georgia at Georgia. Well, so what? Yeah, -3 rushing yards in the championship game, and you didn't drop one spot.
This playoff field seems odd to me. It really does. It seems odd. I think teams are missing.
You got show you what a joke it is. I saw today. Oregon's a 21-point favorite.
Yes.
Over Tulane.
James Madison. Yep.
So much for parity in the playoffs.
No, I got you. I appreciate you, man.
Have a good one, Nate.
Thanks for getting in. I appreciate that. Let me ask you the question of the day as we get started tonight. So is the college football playoff selection process broken? With how this played out, Tulane's in because it's the top five, it's the highest ranked group of 5 teams. Or I should say, it's the highest ranked 5 conference champions. Highest ranked. So when Duke won, they weren't ranked. And so I saw it coming on Thursday. I said, here we go. Tulane and James Madison. Oh, boy. Here we go. And I would say that process is broken. There's 2 things that I'd like to see changed. Okay? Just so we're on the same page here as you're listening to the program. Go to 16 teams. That's fine with me. Who really cares at this point? I mean, we went from 4 to 12, and now you're going to have to go to 16. They've already discussed it. So go to 16 and just, that's going to hurt the regular season. No, it's not. College football fans love the regular season. We're used to now you can lose a couple of games and get in, right? Oh, anyway. Sorry, Notre Dame, but we're used to it. You can lose a couple of games. You can lose 3 and get in, right? Alabama? Yeah, anyway. So we're used to that. So the regular season's going to be exciting. It's fine. Gone are the days of 0-loss teams and stuff like that. So go to 16 teams. Then you wouldn't have this argument, really. You'd say, you'll always argue about the one team left. No, Notre Dame should be in there. Vandy should be in there. Probably throw in BYU. And then you're good. Then you're probably good, really, realistically. So go to 16. The other thing that has to change, I'm still going to advocate for this. The gap is too big between the big boys and NIL money. It's just crazy. You've got to have a new division. You've got to have the absolute richest programs. And the Big Ten and SEC want to run everything anyway. They already are. So let them run their own. And let's have another college football division and throw in these great FCS schools, and let's have some real football here. Let's not think we have another watching the FCS playoffs and we're trying to – there's a huge gap there too. I mean, you have Mercer out here, a top 6 seed in the FCS. That's a joke. A joke. So let's have real football, have a new division, make sure the Dakota schools get there. So get ready, USD and SDSU. The North Dakota schools, get ready. You should be in that group of 6, and then we can have our own college football playoff there. You can say, who's going to care about that? Well, a lot of universities at that level, a ton. There's going to be the richest top 50 or 60 that can handle the big division, and then there's going to be another 60 to 70 that are going to be in the next one. And that's what I'd like to see. We can't keep pretending that James Madison and Tulane should be in this playoff. I mean, they should not, okay? So is the playoff system selection process broken? That's my question of the day. You sound off there, 605-720-1067. As we get going on a Monday, I just want you to read, is the college football playoff selection process broken? I believe it is, and my 2 fixes are go to 16 teams for now, and then let's get a new division in college football with our FCS programs in that mix. Listener text, nobody wants to see Tulane and the Mountain West play in the BCS. There's no BCS. Don't bring up the BCS anymore. Did you like the BCS better, the computer? That was the first start of AI, choosing our college football championship game. Listener text, all this college football playoff talk reminds me of the Sodak 32 in basketball in South Dakota and volleyball. Hey, how about that? Just put everybody in. Listener text, the bowl games are now pointless. With Notre Dame declining a bowl appearance, other teams quit as well. Yeah, and that's what I mean. So the bowl games are out the window. So you just need to change this whole system. You have to change this whole system. Put more teams in the playoff and then put a system together for the rest of the teams. Not the Xbox Bowl. Okay? The Xbox Bowl, I guess, can survive, but it's got to be a playoff game for the lower tier teams. That's what it's got to be. Listener text, slippery slope here. Soon you'll have 7 divisions because everybody wants their own championship. No. Hang on. Big boys, next level, and then the next one is that FCS/Division 2. Whoever can survive there. Okay? Big boys, the Division 1, and then that FCS, the Mercers of the world, taking on whoever. So, listener text, Nate, name one good team Notre Dame beat. They only played 2 top 20 teams in Texas A&M and Miami, and they lost to them both. Well, those are first 2 games. First early games. You got to check Notre Dame's margin of victory here. You got to check Notre Dame. I mean, these guys were untouchable later here. These guys were blowout city. Well, and by the way, what are you trying to tell me? Notre Dame shouldn't be in? And James Madison should? Oh, boy. Be careful there. Be careful. I mean, Notre Dame blasted Arkansas. Notre Dame absolutely blasted Arkansas in the SEC. And guess who's running the college football playoff committee? Arkansas's athletic director. He should have known how good Notre Dame was. He was front and center. Hey, let's go USD here. John Thayer's coming up. USD play-by-play man. The Yotes are on their way to Missoula this weekend. Can they take down the Grizz? Jackrabbits got beat up, gave up a 50 spot. USD and the surprise run. John Thayer coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Shop the best deals of the season at Splash City. Stay warm, relaxed, and save thousands on Jacuzzi and Sundance's highest quality hot tubs and saunas. With a free accessory package, you only have until Christmas Eve to stop in your local Splash City to learn more about these amazing deals. Jacuzzi and Sundance's highest quality in hot tubs and saunas to warm up inside and outside all winter long.
Visit Splash City in Sioux Falls, Rapid City, or Sioux City. It's time to make a splash. You've earned it.
Hey, it's Nate Brown for Atomic Wings, 2 locations in Sioux Falls. You don't need to keep going to the mediocre wing places with too much breading and wings that don't have any meat. Atomic Wings is different. I know firsthand. Their boneless wings are made with fresh chicken right there. The best wings I've had. 15 unique flavors to choose from sweet to heat. Huge traditional wings, fresh boneless wings for game day, lunch, or dinner. 2 locations in Sioux Falls. Just order at atomicwings.com. Atomicwings.com.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind warning begins at 8 a.m. tomorrow and remains in effect until 2 a.m. Wednesday morning. Mainly cloudy skies expected tonight with lows around 32. Southwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Tomorrow, chance for rain. Highs level off around 58. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 47 degrees.
Santa's come to Deadwood early this year. Dive into Santa's stash every Friday and Saturday at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. There's $20,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs every weekend. All you have to do to qualify is play with your Clubhouse card. Earn a free entry every day you card in and get an additional entry for every 100 points you earn. Then be here every Friday and Saturday at 10 p.m. so you can be one of the lucky winners who gets to dive into Santa's stash. Next level giveaways only at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort.
Out here, we have a deeper connection to the land, a stronger connection to our neighbors, standing on our own 2 feet while also working together. The power to do more connects us all. At member-owned West River Electric Association, it's all of us working together to make today and tomorrow better. This is Co-op Country.
Life changes fast. Starting a business, getting married, buying a house, growing your family. Have you taken steps to protect your family's financial future? Don't let life insurance be the thing that slides. It can help your family during difficult times. Lee Cruz with New York Life Insurance Company can help you get started. He's local and will help you find the right policy to fit your needs and budget. You can Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. That's Lee Cruz New York Life. Protect your family.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, just getting started tonight. Welcome in wherever you're at. Across South Dakota, thanks for being here. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. Fox Sports Radio, The Nate Brown Show is on. Talking a lot of college football tonight. Why not? It's wild weekend. Wild weekend. Mike McFeely's coming up from North Dakota. NDSU goes down to Illinois State. That's the big headline. Big. Mike McFeely coming up. He was covering it for Inforum.com. He's on the way. Let's go to a program that won big. I was watching the game early, and I thought, this is a mismatch. This is a mismatch. 47-0 USD beats Mercer on the road in a rainy day in Georgia. John Thayer covering it. USD play-by-play man, Coyote Sports Network, and he's on tonight on South Dakota Sports Talk Show as USDs get set for another road trip to Missoula. John, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing good, Nate. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate your
time. Anytime we get to talk football this time of year, it's a good thing.
I believe that. I appreciate you coming on. I know you got your show tonight, the whole thing with Coach. So that's what I saw. You've covered the team week in, week out. I'm watching their games, and I've seen them get this turn. They've turned here, and they've won some big games. And then I'm watching this playoff game. Mercer, it was a mismatch to me early on. What did you see here? What was your early feel?
Well, my expectation was it was going to be a really good football game, right? We've heard a lot about their run defense, and we know that we want to run the football. We knew that, something's got to give eventually, and our defense gives up a first down and then gets a stop, and then our offense just went right down the field, pushed them around and scored. And I thought, okay, was that an anomaly, or is this how the game's going to go, And we get another stop. We go right down the field and score again, and all of a sudden it's 14-0. And, you blinked, and this thing was a 3-score game, and all of a sudden a 4-score game. And I couldn't believe how quickly it got in control by USD, quite honestly. But it was. Everything that USD wanted to do, it did. They contained Andrew Zock, who's up for the Buck Buchanan Award, and he only hit Aiden Bauman one time, and that was the key to the game. And then you look at their quarterback, freshman of the year in the FCS, and they made him very uncomfortable. Caden Crawford got a ton of pressure all day long. He was picked off 4 times, and that obviously was a big reason why South Dakota was a winner in that game. And I think just, USD went in with a game plan. The team executed it, and they got out of there with a win. So it was crazy how it worked. And, you want to say everything was going your way when USD sends the offense out there on 4th down and Aiden punts it down to the 1-yard line, and then the quarterback drops the ball and they jump on it for a safety. I mean, it just felt like everything was going the way of South Dakota that day.
Okay, so Missouri Valley's a tough conference. We know that. NDSU goes down on a big upset to Illinois State. Jackrabbits lose to Montana. UND goes down to Tarleton State. So USD is one of the teams here standing. What did you think of comparing the Missouri Valley to other conferences this season so far?
Well, I think it's hard to compare to conferences. You know, you can only compare on matchups. And, you know, you look at the SoCon where South Dakota just played a team like Mercer. They played a lot of close games in their league. They did blow out some teams. I mean, they had 800 yards of offense in a game against VMI this year. I don't know if you know, but that's a lot for a football game. And the way that USD just dominated that game, I mean, it makes people feel like, wow, the Valley is way ahead of the SoCon. But then you look at like Tarleton State. That's a really hard offense to figure out. South Dakota got lucky to beat them last year in the playoffs at home, and they just couldn't get anything going, North Dakota, in that game. And, you know, I think South Dakota State is obviously a team that they got Chase Mason back. They got a couple other guys back. But I think it's really hard to go into the playoffs just getting guys back, right? You have to kind of have that feel all the way around, and I don't know if they lost that. What happened, obviously, the second half was controlled by Montana, but early in that game, it felt like South Dakota State was the better team, right? And then the final score is what it is. But I think it's hard to compare conferences sometimes because each individual matchup for certain teams could go a different way.
John Thayer joining us tonight, USD play-by-play man, Coyote Sports Network. The Yotes are on the way to Montana, getting set for a big playoff matchup of the FCS after a 47-0 win over Mercer. I was watching that one. Man, that was a nice game by the Yotes, I will say. So who do you credit here? What do you credit with this? I call it a turnaround, meaning the win over UND kind of got this going. It does feel like a different team to me from the outside, a different team now than early on. What would you say?
Yeah, this might be kind of cliche to say, but I think this is one of the best all-around coaching jobs that we've seen in a while. You go into a season where you've got a lot of guys who are going to play significant positions, significant time, that didn't have a ton of experience, and they were exposed early. And the coaches stuck to the same message. They kept coaching these guys up. They kept getting better, and the message was the same, right? And it sounds cliche, but we got to focus on us, and we got to do it this week, and 1 week at a time. If we keep getting better, we know what we can be. That was kind of their message all season long. And, you know, you get slapped around by North Dakota State, and the team's 2-3, and that's coming off of an overtime win over Northern Colorado, who wasn't picked very high in the Big Sky. And most people had written off USD, and quite honestly, I think the only people who believed in this team at that point were inside the building, to be honest. I think some fans were like, this isn't our year, and some national people had written them off and everything, and then you start just chipping away one win at a time. And then a bunch of people, podcasters and whatnot, right, they said, okay, South Dakota's winning games right now, but look at these last 4 games they got to play. There's no way they win 3 out of 4 of these. And we lose the start of that to Illinois State at home, right, by a touchdown. And you're thinking, okay, now you got to maybe you can win 2 and lose 1 and make the playoffs, but you really need to win all 3. They beat North Dakota and pretty much dominated that game. The score got closer towards the end. They were in control against South Dakota State the majority of that game. We go to Southern Illinois, right? We go down 17 on a fake field goal for a touchdown in the third quarter, and this team doesn't panic. They find a way to send it to overtime, and they win in 5 overtimes. And so, you know, then you get a week off, and you go into the playoffs. I think just overall the coaching from Travis Johansson to the coordinators and position coaches, they have continued to just keep the focus on week-by-week improvement, and I truly believe that is what has this team playing where it is now.
Is it USD against the world? Does it feel like that, John? USD against the world. It feels like everybody forgets about USD.
Well, you know, the computers or some network I saw today gave USD 1% chance to win, 1.5% chance to go to the national championship game. So it's kind of feels that way, right? Nobody's been a believer majority of the year. Obviously, a team that started in the top 5 and lost the first 2, that lost to Lamar, really got people shaken up as far as believing in USD, but it does kind of feel that way, right? It's like this team knows it believes inside that it's really, really good, and they don't really care about what everybody else is saying. They just got to go out each week and play the game and see what happens. But sometimes you do feel that way. You may be picking up a few bandwagoners here or there right now, but everybody's going to go, okay, you went to Mercer and beat them. Cool. Now go prove it against Montana, right? In one of the hardest places to play in the country. And if you win that, you probably have to go back to Montana and play Montana State, for crying out loud. So it's a tough path, but they just got to keep doing what they're doing, and it'll be fun to see what happens this week.
That is a tough road. John Thayer on tonight talking USD football. The Coyotes are playing at Montana. I'll get your take on that game coming up. One more on this. Aiden Bauman. Man, the guy just plays, makes big plays. I feel like he's overlooked. Even he's been around for a long time. He comes back to USD. People know him, but I don't know. I think he's overlooked. Everybody talks Chase Mason. They talk Cole Payton. They talk Brungard. They don't talk Aiden Bauman. Why?
Oh, because Aiden doesn't do the fancy stuff, right? He just goes and plays the game. Like, he rolls up, he runs the offense, he'll give it off to the running back. A lot of times you'll see for South Dakota, the offense is split pretty much 50-50 in run and pass, and Aiden is so comfortable in the play-action passing game that if LJ gets going or Carson Fletcher gets going and they get that running game going, that passing game starts to open up. And he just hasn't, he's not the scrambler that's going to run around and make a big play, right? And that's what usually gets the attention of people in today's college football world, is the quarterback that can scramble and keep things alive. We saw it with Chris Streveler and Austin Simmons for USD, but Aiden Bauman's not that guy. Aiden has quietly become the all-time passing leader at South Dakota. He's the first ever quarterback to throw for 9,000 yards in his career. He's thrown 15 touchdowns for Lorenzo Fenner, which set a single-season record for most touchdowns receiving in a single year. And, I mean, they're just quietly chipping away at the record book, and they don't care about any of that, right? They just want to win the game. And for a lot of this season, you look at Aiden's passing stats, I mean, he's not throwing for 300 yards, right? He's not throwing for 400 yards. He's throwing for right around 200 yards, less than 200, and USD's winning by a score here or there. But they don't care. Like, this team doesn't care if it wins ugly, and they don't care if they win by a wide margin. They just want to win, and they feel like if they can get up 2 scores in about any matchup, they're going to be a really hard team to beat.
Okay, so what are you watching? You make the trip to Montana, the Grizz, great atmosphere, great fans. I've been to games there. It's really good. They have a nice offense. They put up 50 on South Dakota State. Now, the defense has some holes, people think, especially against the running game. So what's the matchup you're really watching? Can USD rack up some yards? Can the USD defense slow down Montana?
Yeah, I think one of the keys to Montana's defense is they just got one of their cornerbacks back. He played against South Dakota State. It was the first game he's played loud since September. So he's been out for quite a while. Came back, and he's helped change their defense. Sure, they might give up some plays downfield and whatnot, but their offense is really, really good. Gilman's a really, really good running back. Yacht is an exceptional quarterback. He can run if he needs to, but he's completing about 70% of his passes right now and throws it very effectively. He's kind of like Aiden Bauman in that most of their interceptions on the season came in the first 3-4 games of the year, right? So they've really settled in. And then the other thing is Yacht has a ton of weapons. They've got so many guys that he can distribute the football to. And I feel like USD is similar to Montana in that regard, in that these receivers don't care if they're the guy that has 4 catches or 10 catches or 1 catch or whatever. When they get that catch, they're going to try to make it into a big play, and that's what they need to do. And so I think these two teams, it's really interesting just how they match up. I mean, they're the only 2 teams in the country that played 12 consecutive weeks without a bye. Montana didn't play at the end of August, so they played 12 straight. They got the bye going into the playoffs because they got a top 8 seed. South Dakota played at the end of August. It played 12 straight, and the Coyotes got a bye at the end of the regular season going into the first round of the playoffs. So there's a lot of similarities. I feel like both teams were written off kind of early, or Montana's winning games, and people are like, well, they haven't played anybody. They haven't played anybody, right?
Yeah.
All season. That's what we were reading. That's what we're hearing. And Montana doesn't care. They keep winning games, and they lose to Montana State by 3 at the end of the regular season. So I think there's a lot of similarities, and I think both head coaches, very, very grounded guys that just want to go win a football game and don't really care about the outside noise.
I think it's going to be a fun one. USD kind of surprising everybody. They blow out Mercer. I think people expected USD could win that for sure, but it was 47-0. Now it's at Montana. Can the bounce-back season here, latter half of the season, continue for the Yotes? Play-by-play man's John Thayer covers the Yotes on the Coyote Sports Network. He's got the Coaches Show tonight. John, I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it anytime.
Thanks a lot. John Thayer on tonight from Vermilion, USD play-by-play. Coyote Sports Network does a nice job covering Yote football. He's on X at John C. Thayer. Appreciate his perspective from the voice of the Yotes. Coming right back, we'll go national college football. The playoff system, quite the deal, huh? John Bryce is in South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame headquarters. John Bryce, national writer for FootballScoop.com. What's his read on this whole scene coming up?
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Keep your cash and spend ours. Our Black Friday sale is back. Get 20% off our clean replacement windows and ensemble entry doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. You pay nothing until 2027. Plus, enjoy a Visa gift card for up to $2,000 as our gift to you. Hurry! This Black Friday event is only here till December 13th. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside. You don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on, and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Welcome back in across the state, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We are live, just getting the week going. What a Monday here across the college football landscape. It's been quite the 24 hours or more. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, inviting in John Bryce. We've had him all season long, national college football writer. I appreciate him tonight. Busy right now, footballscoop.com for the best coverage. Go there every day, footballscoop.com. John, welcome in. How are you?
Good to have you. Have an invitation from you, Nate. I very much appreciate it.
I appreciate you. So, I know you know Notre Dame, and you've covered this program, and so they're in the headlines for a couple of different reasons. They didn't get in the playoff. Let's start there. I opened my show with this. James Madison getting in and Tulane getting in. That's just, I get it, but the system to me is flawed. Notre Dame not in and those teams in, that's a bad deal for me. So how does the world see this, college football world?
I think it's fairly divided, Nate. I think some people, I think just casual college football fans who have watched Notre Dame play over the course of the season certainly believe like Notre Dame is one of the 12 best teams and should be playing for the opportunity to win a national championship and have a path to winning a national championship. I think the Vegas odds makers, who absolutely don't care about anybody's feelings, have made it clear that Notre Dame going into the weekend, I think had the third best odds among Vegas odds makers of any team to win the national championship. So I think those are a couple of data points, so to speak, that have worked in Notre Dame's favor. I also think you have a bunch of people out there that are fans of schools and conferences and don't like the fact that Notre Dame never has to worry about playing a conference championship game that first Saturday of December that could ultimately thwart their playoff plans or vault them into the playoffs. And so I don't think that there's a large contingent of the college football world crying any sort of tears for the Fighting Irish today.
I know that. So here's the deal. Is there going to be enough of a pushback with the Tulanes getting in, the James Madisons getting in from the big conferences here that accelerates the expansion? Are we going to get to 16 teams in the playoff?
Yes, we are, and it's been headed towards that. The question is, how quickly do we get there? On Friday, Pete Bavacqua told Pat McAfee he thought there was a chance in 26, but probably not till 27. But as you continue to see the stalemate or the Cold War brewing between the ACC and Notre Dame, and then you know that the CFP's board of directors meet next month around the same time as the college football championship because they extended the deadline trying to work it out. You hope that they find a solution to the system sooner rather than later. I'm not a big proponent of thinking that it needs to be 24 teams or 32 like some of these wild proposals, but I do think 16 would have more or less eliminated all the controversy in this year's rankings.
Okay, that's where I'm at with you, John. I said I think 16 is a fine number. The regular season is what it is, right? People have always argued, John, well, if you get too many teams, now the regular season doesn't matter. Well, we got 3 lost teams in this thing anyway. So I haven't felt a decline in the interest of regular season games. Have you?
No, and this year I think that ESPN Game Day posted its largest ever viewership for one of its Saturday morning game day shows. Fox Big Noon viewership was up. There were several football games, actual games themselves, that were broadcast over the course of the year that did significant numbers. And look, we would know viewership was down, Nate, if there were fewer commercials, and we're not seeing any less inventory of commercials, and that's what drives the engine. So I thought Eli Drinkwitz today made a great point when he said, yeah, you can talk about how many people are watching our games. That does not mean our sport is healthy. And I thought that was a good way of putting it.
Okay. I think we could go to 16 teams, and it would be fine, and it would have got the right teams in this year, and I think that would alleviate a lot of these arguments. Now, Notre Dame decided we're not going to play in a bowl game. and they're taking heat on that. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that one's tough. I have heard from the parents of some players who are very upset, who watched their sons play 9 days ago out at Stanford and never had any idea that could be the last time their sons would get to put on a Notre Dame uniform. I'm of the belief that while maybe those 15 practices that you get to prepare for a bowl game, or 14 plus the game, whatever it is, maybe those aren't as useful as spring practice after your body's rested and you're in a full reset and a plan. But I still think it would be very valuable for younger players. And Notre Dame was clearly going to have a ton of opt-outs had it elected to play in the game, and felt like it was only going to be having a shell of the team that won 10 straight games and placed itself in position to be a college football playoff team, but get left out. So I see both sides of it, but when your program mantra is choose hard and the bumpy road and all of those things that Notre Dame has leaned on, I think that all you've done is given a bunch of ammunition to the people that are already happy that you're not in the bowl game or that you're not in the playoffs, and now people are just saying, you're mad because you're taking your gold ball and going home, and they're going to have to deal with that, and they're going to hear it a lot, and I'm sure it will be motivation, but now they're going to have 9 consecutive months of that chatter unabated.
Footballscoop.com national writer John Bryce on tonight, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. A couple more, I'll let him run. Follow him on X if you're not. John D. Bryce 1. Find him there. So let's get into some of these teams here. Who's the best team in the playoff right now? Is it Indiana, do you think, or is Ohio State primed for a run?
I think either of those teams is in a great position. I think I like the maturity of the Indiana quarterback a little bit more right now, and because of that, I think that Indiana is better positioned for things. Georgia, as well as they played, as much as they're peaking down the stretch, I still wonder about Gunnar Stockton in a huge game in the playoffs. And I know, again, he played very well Saturday, and they dominated Alabama. They made Alabama look like it didn't belong in the playoffs, but that was largely the Georgia defense holding Alabama to -3 rushing yards in just 23 minutes of possession and barely 200 yards of total offense. So Julian Sayin, I think, has shown that he will deliver for his team, but he's still a really, really young quarterback. And I thought that Bryant Haynes, who's a finalist for the Football Scoop Coordinator of the Year award that will be announced this week, I thought Bryant Haynes and that Indiana staff had a masterful plan for him. And when you can heat up a young quarterback, then you can make him make some bad decisions. And I thought that they made Sayin certainly uncomfortable, and I thought Mendoza, even after nearly getting knocked out of the game, still found a comfort and still had a poise that carried Indiana to the win.
Was that a bad look for Alabama getting beat by Georgia, although they beat them earlier? Alabama hasn't looked great the last, 3 weeks. Is Alabama a real college football playoff contender?
I think Alabama is a contender to win its opening round game. I don't think Alabama is a contender to win the national championship. And I guess if the Tide were able to win their opening round game, then they would have Indiana waiting on them in the Rose Bowl, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the bracket right in front of me. But I just think that as much as Alabama struggles to run the football, and Ty Simpson, I know his dad. I've known the family a long time. His work this year is exemplary, but he's another guy that because of that running game, he can be forced into trying to do too much or feeling like he needs to do too much, and I think that would be the difference in a game against an opponent like an Indiana.
Okay, John Bryce, who would win today, Notre Dame or Miami?
I think Notre Dame would win today. I think especially given how ticked off Notre Dame would be for being left out of the tournament. So if you line them up and let them play this week, I think that Notre Dame would win. More importantly, I had that same question last week, and I reached out to some people in Vegas, some odds makers, and asked them what the line would be on a neutral field. And the odds makers, who, again, don't care about your feelings or my feelings on the Braves or the Cubs or anybody else, said that Notre Dame would be a 4.5-point favorite over the Hurricanes on a neutral site game.
Yeah, I believe that, too. I've been watching a lot of this. Miami gets in. Notre Dame's out. John Bryce has been covering it. FootballScoop.com. We're just getting started. The playoff getting ready to roll. John, I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Nate. Appreciate you, bud.
See ya. John Bryce tonight on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. National college football writer for FootballScoop.com. Question of the day, if you want to sound off, with James Madison and Tulane both getting spots in the college football playoff, is the selection process broken? Yes, you got to change the system, or no, it'll never be perfect. Even if we go to 16 teams, they'll still be whining. I think you got to change the system. First point, go to 16 teams. Second point, you got to change the levels of the college football landscape. The Tulanes of the world will not be at the level of Ohio State. So why are they in the same playoff? I mean, it's just, no. This isn't basketball. Basketball, you catch fire, you have two good players, two elevated players, and you can beat some teams. This isn't basketball. Okay? And even in basketball now, you're going to see the guys that have all the money win. You know how much money Florida had last year? The Florida men's basketball program at NIL? You know how much they had? A ton. That's why they were so good. Yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand. So I say those are the two things. We got to have a new level of college football. And in that level, I have to believe South Dakota State, North Dakota State, USD, UND, and the Montana schools have to get to that level. That's what I would like to see. The biggest tier is going to break off because the bowl games are going by the wayside. Nobody cares about the other bowl games anymore. So your goal is to make the 16-team playoff, and then you're going to have another level for all of these other teams, 75, 80 teams or more. So that's what I see. I think the system has to change. What's your vote? James Madison, Tulane make the playoff. Notre Dame does not. Do you think the selection process is broken? Listeners voting, 63% say yes, it's broken. Change the system. 37% no, it will never be perfect. Listener text, I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but they've won 10 in a row. The NCAA needs to remember where their bread is buttered. Notre Dame draws eyeballs. If this has been Michigan winning 10 in a row, would they be in? All right, good listener text there. Very interesting. Listener text, speaking of basketball, Summit League and those like it shouldn't be in the big dance either. Huh? Come on. I just said basketball is different. Basketball is different. I mean, we saw George Mason make it to the Final Four, remember? We saw Butler make it to the national championship. That elevated Butler's program to now like a real basketball program. But they were just mid-major before. They played my Duke Blue Devils. So basketball's different. Football, roster, depth, all of the resources there. Football's different. Basketball, you can catch some teams. You can beat some teams on any given run. You get 1-2 good players to your place, basketball, that changes you. So let me see here. I want to go to this next question. How bad was that North Dakota State loss? How bad was that to Illinois State? I've got Mike McFeely coming up, columnist for Inforum.com, live from Fargo. But first, what do we think of Jimmy Rogers? Jimmy Rogers left Washington State now. My thoughts coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Keep your cash and spend ours. Our Black Friday sale is back. Get 20% off our clean replacement windows and ensemble entry doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. You pay nothing until 2027. Plus, enjoy a Visa gift card for up to $2,000 as our gift to you. Hurry! This Black Friday event is only here till December 13th. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
You want Honda True, and you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. How you doing? Packed show tonight. John Thayer opening up. USD play-by-play man. We talk Yotes and their run to Montana this weekend. The Yotes at the Grizz. John Thayer, Coyote Sports Network play-by-play voice of the Yotes on tonight. John Bryce moments ago covers Notre Dame and the national college football scene for footballscoop.com. Good stuff from John. Coming up, Mike McFeely from North Dakota. Got to get into the NDSU mess. Inforum.com. Mike McFeely on tap. Jason Anderis coming up tonight. We'll talk high school hoops. Yes, it's hoop season. Some games underway. Jason Andera coming up. The Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. So let's go to this topic. Nobody wants to mention, you got to be careful. You got to be careful because you don't want to upset anybody. So speaking of thinking about tomorrow, Jimmy Rogers is thinking about leaving Washington. Oh, no, he already left Washington State. He's at Iowa State. And so here's what I got to say. I don't know Jimmy Rogers. I've interviewed Jimmy Rogers numerous times on the program when he was at South Dakota State. And always had a good, respectful dialogue, appreciated his time. Was always willing to do interviews. Never like, no, I can't do it. So seemed very respectable, easy to work with, and sounds like he has a great background. Players have really liked him. He comes from the Stig tree. He's appreciative of the opportunity he's had to be a South Dakota State Jackrabbit, a player, a coach. And now the last year, this break in Jackrabbit Nation has surfaced through Jimmy Rogers. So there's people that are mad at Jimmy for leaving South Dakota State because he went to Washington State. And so we played that game about a year ago this time. We played that deal, and I said, you're always going to take opportunities like that. I mean, you're just going to take those opportunities from the FCS to Washington State. But here's the thing that people are having a hard time with. Now Jimmy's left after just one season, and he takes another opportunity at Iowa State. He's an Iowa guy, by the way. So he goes to Iowa State. His wife's family close by in South Dakota. So there's all sorts of factors. And so you never can come on a show. You can't be high and mighty and say, Jimmy Rogers should have just stayed at Washington State no matter what. But let's be realistic. People are making excuses. Well, his AD got let go at Washington State. I mean, that's why I would have left if my AD got let. It didn't have anything to do with that. I mean, he wanted to get to Iowa State. Washington State was a stepping stone. This wasn't going to be the Jimmy Rogers going up in a statue in Pullman, Washington. I mean, let's get real here. So come on, let's just be realistic. Well, the AD got fired, so I think that's why he left. No. He left because he's going to get $3 million a year, and he's back in Iowa. And so I hate to break it to you, if Kirk Ferentz retires and Jimmy Rogers does good at Iowa State, look out. The Hawkeyes are coming for your boy. And then he's going to say, well, I mean, the Cyclones is great. I mean, Iowa State's the place. Iowa's a little better. Hawkeyes, Big Ten, little better. I mean, that's all this is. So we just have to be realistic. We don't have to make excuses about ADs or, anybody would do it and anybody. No, I mean, it's the business of college sports. It's the business of people that you've worked with. Some guys will take anything to advance themselves to get going, and they put them, they're trying to put their family in the best position possible. They aren't trying to be the South Dakota Hall of Fame member. They're not trying to be a South Dakota State Hall of Fame, stay there forever guy like Stig. Some guys are trying to get to the next level, and that's, I think, what Jimmy Rogers has been trying to do. It's really easy to think about. So I don't know what you all think about with Jimmy Rogers leaving Washington State, but let me throw that out in our second question of the day tonight. What do you think of Jimmy Rogers leaving Washington State after just one season? Now, this has been a quick deal here. South Dakota State, couple of years, head coach. Then he leaves for Washington State. People got mad about that because his staff was trying to get players, and they got a lot of players, and so the South Dakota State program had to rebuild. Maybe that's why the Jacks didn't advance in the playoffs. I mean, the whole thing. So there's people that are upset with Jimmy Rogers in South Dakota. And now there's people that are upset with him big time. I'm watching the following out there at Washington State. Man, Washington State's mad. Boy, they are mad. They're like, he came here, he said, you got to have some loyalty and don't chase the shiny objects and you got to build. And now he's gone. And that's, to me, it's just the business of college sports. And you just have to be realistic in saying there is not a ton of loyalty from players or from coaches usually. It's not a blanket statement totally, but let's just be honest. I said that last week, right? I said here on this show, there is not a ton of loyalty in sports all the way from youth to college. I mean, that's just the way it is. What do you think of Jimmy Rogers leaving Washington State after just one season? Good for him, or you don't love it? Now, I would put myself in the category, I don't love it when somebody takes a deal and you're trying to build a program and you leave after one season. It's not ideal. I don't love that. And I'm sure Jimmy Rogers would tell you, if this Iowa State job came 4 years from now, he would have taken that, right? But it just came now. Sometimes opportunity comes and you're like, oh boy, I just started this job. I don't love it, but I'm going to do it. That's the Jimmy Rogers play now. I don't love it, but he's going to do it. That's it. South Dakota State thought, oh, he should stay here forever. He should be, no, he's trying to advance his career. Gone are the days of these guys that are going to stay forever. In high school, in college, people aren't going to stay forever anymore. That's how I see it. Let's see. Lister text, everybody should be happy for Jimmy. It's another South Dakota guy making it to the big time. Sets his family up for success. Let's see what the poll says. 160 votes. Let's see what people are voting here on the Nate Brown Show. What do you think of Jimmy Rogers leaving Washington State now after only one season? Goes from South Dakota State to Washington State. One season, he's out. Players that he brought with him there, I wonder what they're thinking. Like, hey, can I go to Iowa State? They're a little better, but we'll see. I'm sure some of those guys will. 69% of you say good for him, but 31% of you say I don't love it, leaving Washington State after one season. Lister text from Roger, it's a broken system, probably not going back, or probably no going back. Let's see. Chuck says making a lot more money. His wife's family's in the Mitchell area. No reason to stay at Washington State. All right. 69% of you say good for Jimmy Rogers, even though it was one season at Washington State. 31% of you say you don't love it. Coming back into the next hour, I have a little message here tonight. I know, it's one of many. I have a little message. Everybody that has talked about the FCS and the FBS. This is everybody that's talked about, well, FCS is great and the playoffs are great and the whole thing. Have you guys seen what's happened? Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Text scams continue to rise, and victims who have lost money to these scams continues to increase. Consumers cannot rely on a text message to be truthful. If you receive a message regarding a fine for missing jury duty, your utilities being shut off for non-payment, toll road fines, or you've won a sweepstakes, these are scams designed with an urgency and the need to send money now. Do not respond to these texts, and you should contact Consumer Protection at 800-300-1986. That's 800-300-1986 for the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division.
Must be 18 to play. Please play and give responsibly.
Attention football fans, the BetMGM Sportsbook at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort has it all. Watch your team on massive high-definition screens while enjoying live betting. Keep some skin in the game even when the odds don't go your way. Enter Jack's Second Chance Mulligan drawing by dropping your losing ticket for a shot at up to $200 in Cadillac cash every week. Satisfy your craving with mouth-watering Mexican cuisine from Guadalajara's or choose from 4 other food vendors, all while sipping on your favorite drinks. The BetMGM Sportsbook at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort. How will your game play out?
At Highmark Credit Union, we believe banking should feel personal. That's why when you walk into our lobbies, you'll be greeted by real tellers and friendly staff, ready to help with your questions, big or small. And yes, we've got the latest technology too, for when you want quick and convenient service. The best part? You get to choose. Highmark Credit Union. Personal service backed by modern technology. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com. We're talking with Rihanna Wickett at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy with an Elevate Performance Health Minute. So if somebody has an athlete, Rihanna, who they suffer a concussion, they come and see you, what can you do for them?
We want to see them as soon as possible to make sure that we can make their return to sport as safe as possible. So we can look at proprioception, balance, vestibular work, and cervical strength.
When they try to get back up to speed, you said a treatment plan, very important as they return to sport.
Making sure that the athlete has a skilled plan moving forward so that they don't return to sport way too early, making sure that the return to contact is an appropriate timing.
And the goal of that is you do not want to have another concussion getting back to it too early.
Correct. If we have another concussion too early, the athlete is at a huge risk of further problems down the road, including anything with their school or memory or continuous headaches.
For concussion treatment, get started at ElevatePerformanceSD.com.
One more time. This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, it is South Dakota Sports Talk Show, the Nate Brown Show, back on. Welcome in. Hope you're having a great day. It is always a great day in South Dakota. Winter has arrived. We know that. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, and is powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union, literally my family's banking partner, not just something I promote. I want to tell you why we switched. It's really for a lot of their services, from the technology to the mobile banking, and then the loan rates, vehicle loans, personal, business. They do it all. Black Hills Federal Credit Union, from personal to business, my banking partner. I'm glad I switched. 18 locations across South Dakota, from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. Really easy to get started, bhfcu.com. How do you get started, though? You got to become a member and experience the benefits of Black Hills Federal Credit Union. Become a member. Start at bhfcu.com. It'll work out for you. It's worked out great for me. Mike McFeely's coming up tonight, columnist for Inforum.com. North Dakota State goes down in a heap. What a deal. What a deal. I was told on this show over and over, and I said it myself, North Dakota State looked better than everybody. And then they get taken down to the surprise attack at the end by Illinois State, the 2-point conversion. Little side note, Brock Spack. You know Brock Spack, head coach at Illinois State? I was one of the first guys to see Brock Spack in his early days, defensive coordinator at the University of Wyoming. I know the real Brock Spack. And now the head coach at Illinois State goes for 2 and gets the win over North Dakota State. Huge upset. Mike McFeely, reaction from Fargo coming up. Jason Andera on tonight from Sioux Falls. South Dakota Public Broadcasting with a high school basketball preview, one of many coming up. So I had John Bryce on tonight, national college football writer and covers Notre Dame for footballscoop.com. I asked him, what should we think of Notre Dame not doing a bowl game now? And so let me ask the audience on the Nate Brown Show tonight. This wasn't an official question of the day, but I'm curious what you would say. What do you think of Notre Dame opting out of a bowl game? They did get into the college football playoff, so then they announced, well, we're not going to go to a bowl game. We're done. John Bryce said he's heard from parents, some parents, who aren't very happy, some, because that's it then for their sons, some of the seniors that aren't going to be playing anymore at Notre Dame, and then that's it. They were expecting the playoff, and then I guess they were thinking, well, we'll go to a bowl game, but it's over. And so I have some thoughts on this. I'm a Notre Dame fan, guys, okay? So I'm a Notre Dame fan. I have a long history with Notre Dame, had numerous friends that went there. We went back every year for a game and did the whole experience. It's great. It's great. Don't hate on Notre Dame unless you've done it. Don't hate on Notre Dame unless you've done it. That's my advice to you. But what do I think of Notre Dame skipping a bowl game? Well, it had to come down to a player vote, or at least I think it should have. So I think you should get the players' feedback on that. And then the one thing people are not remembering with Notre Dame, they got a bunch of pro players. They're going to lose these guys because they aren't going to play in a bowl game. The Jeremiah Love, Heisman candidate, he's not going to play in a bowl game. There's numerous guys, O linemen, D linemen. These NFL draft prospects are not going to play in a no-name bowl game. They're going to opt out. So then Notre Dame's just supposed to throw out whoever. Yeah, let's go play in a bowl game. And then they bring all the eyeballs. They bring their brand. They elevate college football in that bowl game. And if I'm them, I'm going, that's the phrase, So I'm not too hard on Notre Dame skipping the bowl game. Are you? 605-720-1067. That's how you can join the conversation tonight. That's one thought for you on the Barron's Wilson text line. Are we really hard on Notre Dame for skipping a bowl game? Oh, take your golden ball and go home. You got to think about it from their perspective. The opt-outs, that's a big factor. Why are we mad at Notre Dame? Baylor just bailed. I saw Baylor was supposed to go to a bowl game, and they said, no, we're not going to do it. So, because they don't have enough players. I think a lot of players are going to go to the transfer portal, so they're like, yeah, we're out. Kansas State's out. Iowa State's out. Well, they had coaching changes. Yeah, but they're still out. So everybody likes, singling out Notre Dame. You guys should have played. No, they're out. They're going to have players go to the NFL. They're out. Speaking of the college football playoff, I have an FCS segment here I want to do. So if you've heard over the years like me, I grew up in Montana, been in South Dakota a long time. I'm an FCS guy from the start. And I've seen the Montana schools play for a long time. I've seen South Dakota, the NDSU, South Dakota State rise. So FCS is something that I really like. I didn't go to SDSU or anything like that, so I don't have ties from an alma mater, but it's a level of football I really like and appreciate. And so we've seen great games and great players. And there's great programs that can beat group of 5 teams, right, in the FBS level. But there's this, there continues to be this argument that you shouldn't leave the FCS because the FBS is not good enough. You've seen this over the years. And maybe you argue that. Yeah, just stay in the FCS. It's so valuable to be in the playoffs and you play for something and, there's good support and you get lost in the FBS. So the FBS isn't what it's worth. Yeah, it is. And I've always said that. Even me being an FCS fan, I have always said you want to play at the highest level. And my point being, James Madison decided that a while ago. We're going to get to the FBS. People mocked it. Oh, good luck. What's it done for Georgia Southern? Oh, how's it going for some of these teams that have done this? James Madison went FBS, and they're in the college football playoff. I mean, this could have been North Dakota State North Dakota State's won all these games. Everybody keeps hemming and hawing. We can't get in a conference. I don't know. James Madison went FBS, made the play. They're in the playoff. What's that worth? I'll tell you what it's worth. $4 million just right now, cash. So take that. But the bigger worth, their game against Oregon is going to be so valuable for James Madison, that university, you won't even be able to measure it. That's what the FBS is going to bring. You're going to say, well, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, they can't make the playoff. Well, here's the deal. The whole system is going to change. I believe that. You're going to have a system change, so you better get ready to be in that next level. You missed the boat. James Madison got on it. North Dakota State missed it. South Dakota State was a little far behind, probably couldn't have got on that one. North Dakota State missed it. James Madison hit it, and now it's out of the park. It's gone. You're never going to catch that ride. So James Madison's in the playoff, and everybody mocked him. People mocked him. Hey, good luck. Hey, what are you going to be playing in the Myrtle Beach Bowl? No, they're going to be playing Oregon in the college football playoff. Whoops. Mike McFeely coming up, Inforum.com from North Dakota next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Keep your cash and spend ours. Our Black Friday sale is back. Get 20% off our clean replacement windows and ensemble entry doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. You pay nothing until 2027. Plus, enjoy a Visa gift card for up to $2,000 as our gift to you. Hurry! This Black Friday event is only here till December 13th. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Buy them too. We make cash offers to purchase local cars, trucks, and SUVs every day. Tired of listing online? Tired of messages? Or just tired of making payments? Whatever the reason, make an appointment at rapidchevrolet.com for a no-obligation appraisal. It's fast and free. When you're ready to sell, we're ready to buy. At Danny Menholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show's on tonight. Glad you're here. Just getting a week started, man. Wild weekend. Wild weekend of the FCS and the college football playoff. A lot of college football guests tonight. Appreciate everybody checking in on the Nate Brown Show. We are live South Dakota Sports Talk Show with Mike McFeely on tonight from Inforum.com. Mike, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing okay. The funeral is kind of still ongoing with some, it's going to have a little bit of tail to it here, but I think folks around here are recovering already from the shocking result of the weekend.
How many people were marching in the streets? 1 or 2? Or?
well, as you and I have talked a lot about over the last several years, which seems to get under Matt Zimmer's skin, some other people's skin in South Dakota. There has not been the same passion for NDSU playoff football for the last 5 or 6 years as there used to be. And there was about, I think, 10,000 people, so the Fargo Dome was half filled. So there was no marching in the streets. There was no burning of cars, or it wasn't like downtown Philadelphia after the Eagles won the Super Bowl or lost the Super Bowl or whatever. But certainly a shock. I think Bison fans that I've talked with are like I think I was on your program a few weeks ago, Nate, and you asked me, what the thought of whether the Bison are going to win the national championship or not. And I think the phrase I used to you is, I would be shocked if they didn't at least get to Nashville. And you said, so a walkthrough. And I went, no, I did not say that. That's not what I said. I said I'd be shocked if they lost, but there's always tough games. And it so happened that this was one of the tough games. And for the first time in 15 years, or one of the few times in 15 years, NDSU didn't find a way to somehow pull one out of the fire, and they made national news by losing, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is. They did make national news. It was on some pretty big platforms. At North Dakota State goes down to Illinois State. So was this just a flash in the pan? Get to the game. They were up by 2 touchdowns. Things happened in a frenzy at the end. Was it just a lucky deal or what?
Oh, no, I don't think so. That'd be disrespectful to Brock's back in Illinois State, even though they didn't play anything close to a perfect game. I mean, Illinois State turned it over 5 times and still won and gave up a punt return for a touchdown and a 78-yard pass on the first play of the game for a touchdown. And so Illinois State still found a way to win the game. But they played really well defensively. And then Tommy Rittenhouse and Daniel Sobkowitz, when it mattered, they found a way to make some plays, and Illinois State's playmakers made the plays when it counted, and North Dakota State's playmakers did not make plays when it counted, and so it wasn't lucky. It was. I still think NDSU is the best team in FCS. They did not win. They did not win the game across the board. I think they have the best players. They did not win the game. I think the coaching plan offensively was not good. I think some of the play calling was not good. I think that the offensive line for North Dakota State played terribly, and part of that was because Illinois State was really good up front and older and bigger and stronger. And the quarterback for NDSU, Cole Payton, did not have a great game, not even close. I think he looked hesitant. I think he looked a little bit, speeded up, or whatever the phrase is that football coaches use, and they just didn't get it done. I mean, it was funny. I was talking to somebody else earlier on a Fargo radio station, and what I said was, it would have been shocking either way. If NDSU would have won this game the way they played offensively, it would have kind of been a shock. You kind of would have went, wow, how'd they win that game? But it was also shocking because they were up by 2 touchdowns despite stinking it up offensively the entire game. It's like they had the game right there. They needed one more first down.
Yeah.
They needed 10 yards, and they would have won the game, and they couldn't get it. And part of that was execution. And frankly, as I wrote yesterday, or I wrote Saturday, and I wrote again today, the play call on 3rd and 4, when the game was on the line, was the weirdest, dumbest play call I could imagine in that situation. And Illinois State got the strip sack and recovered it at the 22 and won the game. So they earned it. They made the plays down the stretch.
Where does this, you've covered NDSU a long time, Mike, where does this loss rank, honestly, in the loss scale?
Oh, I wrote it on Saturday. I think in the FCS playoff history, it's the biggest upset in FCS playoff history. And in terms of the shock scale for North Dakota State, I think this one it's got to be right there. I mean, they've lost playoff games before, but, one was in the national championship game, one was in the semifinals, one was in that stupid spring season when that should have never been played, and they didn't, whatever. They lost that one in Sam Houston. That was like, oh, that's odd. They lost the game, but they didn't have a quarterback that year, and that was a weird situation. But even going back to the Division II days when I covered North Dakota State, I don't recall anything like this where you went, wow, what was that? I mean, and part of it again, it's so odd because NDSU has had so much success. They've been to the quarterfinals 15 years in a row.
Yeah.
They've been to the semifinals 13 of 15 years. Now just stop and think about that. They've been to the semifinals of the playoffs at least 13 of 15 years, and they've made the finals 11 of 15 years. I mean, it's just people become so used to that, and so just that's the way it's supposed to be. And frankly, you know, the rest of FCS hated it so much and just resents and despises NDSU so much that when the Bison lost this game, there was what joked before I came on the air with you, Nate, that I think there was a bigger celebration outside of Fargo than there was like a you know, burning of cars inside Fargo. The reaction from everywhere was just like stunning to me. I went, wow. I knew people didn't like NDSU, but wow, I didn't know they didn't like them this much. But
well, it's interesting. I got some texts on the listener text line here on the Nate Brown Show saying, I hope you talk North Dakota State on Monday. I hope you talk. And I said, wow, there's some passion.
Yep. And I said this before too. It's interesting that, you know, South Dakota State, they gave up 50 in Missoula. I mean, they got pounded in Missoula, and I don't know that anybody cares because everybody's so happy that NDSU got beat up in Grand Forks. You know, UND actually won a playoff game this year and got to the second round and they got pounded by Carleton, and nobody cares. No. You know, the story is the team that lost. I mean, does anybody care that South Dakota is in the quarterfinals? I don't know.
Yes, I do.
Maybe.
Oh.
Is there anybody that cares that, you know, Davis and Illinois State are playing in the quarterfinals outside of a handful of people in Davis, California, and Normal, Illinois? I don't think so. So FCS is an odd duck with the way NDSU has dominated in that it needs NDSU for storylines and you know, for a little bit of relevancy nationally, but everybody's happy when they lose, and so you need the evil empire, and people got what they wanted this weekend.
Is it possible that NDSU thought it was a walkthrough here Saturday?
No, I don't think so.
Huh?
I thought they played hard from the start. They got up 14-0 right away. I mean, they were ready to go. I mean, they stopped Illinois State 3-and-out on Illinois State's first drive. The defense was flying around. I don't think at all they thought it was a walkthrough. I just think the combo of what I talked about, all year long, the offensive line, it was a question mark before the season, and throughout the year, NDSU coaches kept tinkering with the offensive line, and they just were never quite comfortable with the five guys they had out there, and they kept switching things around and moving guys from tackle to guard and guard to tackle, and they just never quite found the combo they liked. And in this game, because of an injury, they had a true freshman starting at left tackle and a redshirt freshman who played 9-man football playing at right guard. And he'd played all year. But I think it finally just caught up with them. And the offensive line just got overwhelmed against Illinois State. And Illinois State did a great job. Some veteran guys up front, and they dominated the line of scrimmage, which you never see happen. And that, in turn, I think led to the quarterback just getting kind of out of sorts, kind of sped up a little bit, and just wasn't decisive. I didn't think Cole Payton looked decisive out there. He just kind of was, just like didn't quite know what to do, and they just never got in a rhythm. And then when they did have some chances to do some things, I just thought the coaching and the play calling was just really strange and really odd, and it all added up to what you saw.
Yeah, Illinois State with a massive upset, knocking down the Bison. Mike McFeely covering it. Inforum.com. His story's up there. Let me ask you about, you mentioned FBS and FCS. We talk about that a lot. I just did a segment here that people have mocked and joked around and even did with James Madison when they said, yeah, James Madison's been really good, but good luck going to the, Pop-Tarts Bowl or whatever.
Yeah.
Good luck having fun there. They're in the playoff. They're in the college football playoff,
Yes.
$4 million cash right now, and then the exposure against Oregon in this game is just going to be unbelievable. So this is what you've talked about. Is it possible to say that, hey, if North Dakota State would have really, really ramped it up, this could have been them or not?
It could have been.
Yeah.
It could have been James Madison. Well, no, because you have to be an FBS to be James Madison.
Well, I'm saying, could they have been here? If they would have ramped this up long time ago, North Dakota State, we want to get to the FBS. Could they have done it like James Madison?
I don't think so, because I think the geography just doesn't change, and I think that's been a hang-up with North Dakota State, is just the location. And James Madison is located in a place where there's a bunch of other similar type G5 or G6, I guess it is now, institutions that they used to play with, like the Appalachian states and the Old Dominions, and I mean it's all geographically very reasonably close together. I don't think that changes. I mean maybe if NDSU back in 2012 or 2013, if they had started the process, is there a chance then? I don't know. I just the geography thing to me just hasn't really changed. What I find interesting is, and I'm not on Twitter as much as I used to be because I need to have some sanity in this world, but I saw some of the same things you were talking about, that it's, is the Mountain West going to call now? And go to the Conference USA? And people were, and understandable. I mean, they're mocking NDSU because they lost. I get it. It's sports fans. But, this one defeat doesn't change what NDSU wants to do, and it doesn't change their attractiveness to an FBS conference, if there is. And I've reported this and I've talked about it. There's been some very specific rumors the last few weeks about North Dakota State and the Mountain West again. And I don't know if there's anything happening. I can't pin it down, but I just keep hearing some very specific things that might be happening. And so that one loss in the playoffs is not going to change anything. And actually, what I've told people is, if you're an NDSU fan on the fence, or if you're one of these people that doesn't think you should leave FCS, this loss should actually make you go, yeah, you know what, FBS is the place to be. Because NDSU lost a second-round playoff game, and this year now is going to be seen as a failure. The only way NDSU can have a successful football season, apparently, is to win a national championship. And so if that's the situation, if the only way you can be seen as successful is winning a national championship, then you've done all you can do where you are, and then it's time to move on and do the next thing, because that's an impossible standard. That if you happen to lose a game, it's like, oh my God, the sky is falling. And it's like, no, they played a bad game, and the other team played better, and they won the game legitimately, and it happens. There's never been a run like NDSU's been on. 11 championships or 10 championships in 15 years or 14 years. And I just don't know that you can keep that going. And if losing a playoff game is a sign of a failure, then what else is there to do? You can't do anything else. And so move to FBS and find out what else you can do.
Mike McFeely, always great. Find him at Inforum.com, columnist, joining us tonight on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Mike, I appreciate you, man. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you.
Thanks a lot. Mike McFeely, Inforum.com, his story up on the NDSU meltdown there late in the fourth quarter. Illinois State moves on. Wild. Let's go to high school hoops. It's underway. South Dakota high school basketball, fun time of year. Who are some teams to watch early on? Jason Andera, his read from SDPB coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Hey, it's Nate Brown for Atomic Wings, 2 locations in Sioux Falls. You don't need to keep going to the mediocre wing places with too much breading and wings that don't have any meat. Atomic Wings is different. I know firsthand. Their boneless wings are made with fresh chicken right there. The best wings I've had. 15 unique flavors to choose from sweet to heat. Huge traditional wings, fresh boneless wings for game day, lunch, or dinner. 2 locations in Sioux Falls. Just order at atomicwings.com. Atomicwings.com.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work, and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a goodbye with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
Winter is almost here. It's time to say goodbye to drafty doors, poor quality windows, sky-high heating bills, and outdated design. And hello to Acclaim replacement windows and stunning ensemble entry doors from Renewal by Andersen. Now's the time to invest in your home and your family's comfort. And what better time than our Black Friday event, where you keep your cash and spend ours. Get 20% off windows and doors plus a Visa gift card for up to $2,000 as our gift to you. You won't pay a dime till 2027 with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. Call now. This incredible offer is good through December 13th. Don't wait. Visit RBARapidCity.com today to book your free estimate. You don't want to miss out on windows and doors that are durable, energy efficient, and custom made for the perfect fit from Renewal by Andersen. Our Black Friday sale is here. Book today because every home should be warm and cozy.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Hey, thanks for being here tonight. Monday show. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. The Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you here. Hey, it's basketball season. Games underway. Jason Andera is in tonight. We'll try and do this a lot. Can we do it every week? We'll see. I mean, I haven't contracted him yet, okay? Jason Andera is with SDPB. He's going to do a show called Game Time, where they break down high school hoops. Jason, welcome in. How are you?
I am great, and I'm always up for a conversation with you, Nate.
All right,
so, yeah,
all right.
If you want to make this thing regular, I am all in.
All right. We did football, basketball. Here we go. Let's get into some preseason talk here. So I'm just going to go through it. People kind of want to know, who are the teams? Do we know? It's hard with basketball. Who graduated? Who's coming back? AA boys. Sioux Falls Lincoln was so good last year. They met up with Mitchell. It's like, man, this is a battle. Brandon Valley was good. So people are trying to look at AA boys and say, is Lincoln good again? Who do you see?
Well, Lincoln returns their 3 main players from last year in Sam Erickson, Sam DeGroat, and Brody Schaefer, and those guys will make any team an instant contender for the state title. But they did lose some key players as well, and 2 of those guys, Justin Bilal and DeAndre Painter, who are very good, both transferred to Roosevelt, making Roosevelt, I think, the underrated team here that really has a chance to make a splash this year with those 2 new guys, and then with Memphis Bylander and their point guard C.J. Schmausback. I think Roosevelt, to me, is in that small group of contenders with Lincoln, and I think Huron belongs in that group as well. Huron with the best player in the state in Blake Elwine, and they've got another big guy in Davis Chase. So 2 big guys, really good backcourt, They've got some guys who are injured off the football season who won't be back until January or so we might not see full Huron right off the bat, but I think those are your three teams that we have to point to. I think Brandon Valley gets some love just because they won the state title last year, but to me they are at least a step back from those three.
Okay, so Sioux Falls, Lincoln, you got your eye on Huron, Sioux Falls, Roosevelt boys, yes, for you in the mix. Let's flip it over to the girls. AA girls. O'Gorman, they say, is going to be unbeatable, but it's basketball. What do you say?
Well, we're going to find out pretty quick. They face off against Brandon Valley, and they've gotten a little mini rivalry going here over the last couple of years between those two, making it to the state finals a couple of years in a row. And Brandon Valley, has the Player of the Year back in Olivia Paget. They have Gracie Salter, an all-state player, in the post. They've got Ava Kellenberger, who's been starting since she was a freshman and now a senior. Brandon Valley is definitely a team to be reckoned with. They are right there with O'Gorman. O'Gorman is really good. They are really good. They've got talent all over the court. Ruby Moore, a future SDSU player on the court for them. Sadie Merriman and Julia Eggert, some all-state players back. But I'll tell you what, it's not going to be, an automatic undefeated season like it has been the last 2 years. They've won 50 in a row, and they have a tough game against Brandon to start things off here. And it'll be tough just to get to 51, let alone into the 70s this year.
Okay, so O'Gorman girls, Brandon Valley girls, really, really good. Are they a cut above? Can somebody else slip in there? I've got my eye on Stevens. They're not big, but they got a lot of good guards. They got 4 college guards. They're going to be in the starting lineup.
Yeah, that's one team definitely in the mix is Stevens. Finley Love, really good player. Hallie Peterson, really good player. They played an 8th grader last year on the court. So, yeah, Stevens definitely in the mix. Without, Talia Porter, things do look different, but I think this is a team that has enough pieces that they'll be able to do just fine. And then I think Washington played 2 freshmen last year that got a lot of playing time, and both of those two look like potential stars for Washington, and you pair that with a couple of seniors on the team that are really good in Dana Harp and Riley Kennett. So I think Washington, Stevens, right there, Aberdeen Central. Lauren Burkhart is really blossomed into one of the best players in the state, and you put her with Taryn Hermanson on the inside. I think Aberdeen Central's right there. And then Mitchell's the other team. They're the wild card right now. They've got 2 8th graders who already have D1 offers, who are playing, middle school players who are playing and just getting started with their varsity careers. How good can they be this year? I'm not sure, but they're definitely a team to watch because Mitchell has got a lot of young talent, but we'll see how quickly they develop.
Jason Andera on tonight. SDPB covers high school sports. His show is called Game Time. Let's go Class A, boys and girls really quick. On the boys' side, Sioux Falls Christian, everybody's going to put them at number 1, but is West Central there with Dave Hollenbeck?
Yeah, West Central's really good. Will Call, really good. Connor Mebius, maybe the best point guard in the state, just a junior. But Sioux Falls Christian is absolutely loaded once again, and they just have the spoils of the riches. They have 2 freshmen from last year who have come up and could be 2 of the best sophomores in the state. We haven't even seen play yet, really. In Cooper Strandy, the guy who was quarterback for the All-State or for the state championship team, and then Ryan Dielman, a 6'8" post player who hasn't seen varsity time yet, but could be the next big thing. So Sioux Falls Christian absolutely locked and loaded. I really like Lennox too. I think Lennox is a team that could fight with West Central right on that top 3. Groton has all 5 starters back, and Ryder Johnson, a player who was an all-state player last year. I think they're a team that people maybe aren't talking about. And then Clark Willow Lake has another phenomenal talent in Sully Feldberg, who had a all-state season as a freshman last year. And those types of players, man, they can start taking over, and there's a lot of teams in here in this mix that could be good. And don't forget about St. Thomas More. I think Buzzy Gilton and crew over there, the cupboards are not empty at St. Thomas More. I think they're a top 5 potential team, too.
I think St. Thomas More was going to have one of their better teams coming back for Dave Hollenbeck. He goes to West Central, and Tony Young, the new head coach for St. Thomas More boys. On the girls' side, what do you say about Mapayalluta? Boy, that was a great run for them last year. I hear they're going to be good again on the girls' side.
Yeah, and they continue to improve their schedule, and that's what I love to see. Is they're playing Bennett County early in January. They're, playing the LNI right away off the bat. They're playing in a couple more classics than they have. Really good team, and Ashlyn Carlo Blunt just primed for a great year. And she has a younger sister too, who's coming up and is going to get some varsity time this year. And I think Mapayalluta feels to me like the team to beat, although Sioux Falls Christian nipped them in the title game last year, and they've got some good players back as well. So, it's not going to be easy, but to me, like Mapayalluta, definitely the team to beat.
Jason Andera tonight, little preview. We'll get back to it. Hoops are underway. A lot to discuss. SDPB, his show is called Game Time. It comes out every week. Jason, I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Yeah, anytime.
All right. Jason Andera on SDPB, high school sports analyst, talking high school hoops. The season is underway. Some games have been played. Some more getting going this week. Who's hot and who's not on the Nate Brown Show? 2 quarterbacks in my categories. One you haven't heard from in 5 years coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Auto Value has once again teamed up with Toys for Tots to help deliver hope to less fortunate children this Christmas. Now through December 15th, you can drop off a new unwrapped toy or cash donation at any participating Auto Value parts store. Your toy or cash donation will not only help Santa, but also allow one more child to experience the magic of Christmas. On behalf of everyone at Auto Value and the North Pole, we thank you.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
At Connect Home Center, they've been a part of the Mead Lumber family since 2000. Now, they're bringing everything together under one trusted name, Mead Lumber. Don't worry, your favorite team, great service, and high-quality products aren't going anywhere. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name. From design to finish, here for you every step of the way. Check them out at meadlumber.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind warning begins at 8 a.m. tomorrow and continues until 2 a.m. Wednesday morning. 36 tonight under mainly cloudy skies, southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Slight chance for mixed precipitation changing to all rain tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 58, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 44 degrees.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
All right, who's hot and who's not every night at this time on the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and Brandon location, 2 locations in Rapid City. It's the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. In my Who's Hot tonight, Shedeur Sanders, second most yards in the NFL this week. Anybody hear about it? Anybody watch it? Anybody know about it? Anyway, Shedeur Sanders, 364 yards, 3 touchdowns. And nobody said a thing. Well, they lost. I got a text from a buddy. They lost because they stink. And they went for a 2-point conversion with some halfback pass. Anyway, Shedeur Sanders, I guess he can play a little bit. Or is he lucky? I don't know. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not tonight, the Indianapolis Colts are thinking about bringing in Phillip Rivers. Daniel Jones got injured yesterday. They're thinking about bringing in Phillip Rivers. I don't know if this Pro Football Talk reported this tonight. Phillip Rivers, 44 years old. Hasn't played since 2020. Phillip Rivers. Wow. Good luck with that. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. We appreciate it. We're back tomorrow. See ya.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar amount losses. They prey on vulnerable adults and swindle